If you vote for Joe Biden, you really are counting on a President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is likely.
Wow. Is President Joe Biden too old to run for a second term? A lot of people are saying this is a legitimate concern of theirs, his age, his cognitive ability, and yeah, people are saying they don't know if he's going to make it through his second term if he is reelected. Take a look. Nikki Haley says that Joe Biden is likely to die before his 86th birthday. Republican presidential contender Nikki Haley said that it is unlikely that Joe Biden would make it until 86 years of age on a Fox News interview. Let me know your thoughts. Take a look. Biden's age trap. Risks of running at 80, and they're saying he is going to be the oldest president if he runs again the second time. He is right now, but he will be then the oldest one we have ever had. Let me know. Is this a concern of yours? Take a look at this. Nikki Haley predicts that Biden will die within 5 years if reelected, leaving Kamala Harris the president of the United States. And what do you think about that? Let me know your thoughts. She says a vote for Biden is a vote for Kamala Harris because he doesn't have much time left. Does that change your perspective? If you were planning on voting for Biden, which we're hearing not a lot of people are, his approval rating is pretty low. But if you were, does that change your perspective if knowing that he passes away, that then Kamala Harris becomes the president? Let me know your thoughts, you guys, but this is all coming out. Now, in addition to that, speaking of his cognitive ability, concerns about his memory and things like that, we just saw yesterday during a speech, he was being asked questions. He forgot that he had just been in Ireland for a week. A child had asked him, and another child had to remind him. Take a look.
You traveled to?
The last country I've traveled, I'm thinking what's the last one I was in. I've been to 89, I met with 89 heads of state so far. So I'm trying to think, where was the last place I was? It's hard to keep track. I mean, yeah, you're right, Ireland. That's where it was. How'd you know that?
Now, let me know your thoughts. Was that a sign of his cognitive ability slipping away, or was that just him not being able to remember what he did, which I can relate sometimes. I can't remember what I did earlier in the day or yesterday, but they're saying he was gone for a week in Ireland, and it was just recently, and they're saying it's not a good sign, and they're saying that the White House is actually trying to cover up for this. And take a look at this. They're saying that he is being given the answers to specific questions that news reporters are going to ask him, that it's all scripted to help him along. Do you think that they're actually doing this, or do you think that this is conspiracy theory? Take a look.
Well, the White House is defending President Biden using a pocket card during his press conference this week with South Korea's head of state. The image captured shows a reporter's fleshed out question ahead of the president calling on her. Press Secretary said this in response.
The LA Times said that their reporter did not submit any questions in advance of yesterday's press conference. So to people who saw that pocket card, can you explain how that ended up there and why the president needed something like that?
It is entirely normal for a president to be briefed on reporters who will be asking questions at a press conference and issues that we expect they might ask about. Look, we do not have specific questions in advance.
Dr. Mark Siegel yesterday said he's spoken to past presidents who say they didn't need these kinds of what he calls helper notes. Take a listen.
What do I look for? I look for the ability for thinking, for clear thinking, for what we call executive function. Can you do complex decisions? Can you think outside the box? Can you be flexible if something comes in? There's a threat coming from another country. You're just hearing about it for the first time. Do you need a cheat sheet? We need cognitive testing here.
Wow. So do you think that President Joe Biden has cognitive function? Do you think that he's going to be making it through a second term if he's reelected? Or do you think that he potentially could pass away and then Kamala Harris would become the president of the United States? And are you okay with that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, in addition to that, we're hearing that the Republican contender coming to the forefront right now is former President Donald Trump. And also there are rumors that Ron DeSantis could be stepping up as well. Now, we will see. I'm going to give you the latest information. I'm going to share with you the video footage of what Nikki Haley had to say. And let me know your thoughts, because this is huge. This is going to be the commander-in-chief, the person running our nation. And right now, a lot of people are not happy with the way things are going with Joe Biden, as we're hearing the approval rating in some of the polls are as low as like 30%. 7 out of 10 Americans are saying they disapprove, they want Biden out, And now, what if Biden gets a second term and he doesn't make it? Wow, there's a lot of things to take into consideration here for our nation in this upcoming election. But I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. Do me a favor before we dive in, smash the like button if you appreciate the updates. I'll keep you up to speed on everything going on. Just takes a second. Thank you so much. And if you want to stay up to date, totally free. Why not? All you got to do is hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell. I'll let you know about stimulus checks going out on various levels all around the nation, still happening with the excess funds that are left over. And on a federal level, we've got $400 billion of leftover funds still just sitting there, and Congress has not forgotten about them. This is what they're talking about when they're saying they want to rescind or take back stimulus COVID money. It is leftover funds from previous packages that was meant to go out to the American people that is still just sitting there. I'll keep you up to date on that. Also, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all the things happening in Congress right now that are being addressed. 2023, we're hearing, is the year of Social Security reform. I will keep you up to date on all of it here on the channel. And if you want to go a little bit deeper and you want to help me out with video content, information, you want to get direct access to me, or you need help with information specifically for your situation, go ahead and hit the join button. You can join the Ram Fam membership, and I'll be happy to help you guys out. And also, if you want a comprehensive list of every stimulus check for states, cities, and counties, you can do so at www.reliefroadmap.com, where I've assembled a list that is available for you there. But with that being said, you guys, let's dive in. Let's start off with this video footage of what Nikki Haley had to say.
It is a very rare news conference for this president. We were just having this conversation with Mark Thiessen at the top of the hour, Ambassador. Even the New York Times noting Biden's held the fewest news conferences since Ronald Reagan. Just quickly, your reaction to what you just heard there from the president and this sort of strategy that we are seeing on the part of the White House to see and hear from the president so seldomly.
I think there's a few issues here. You know, he's announced his, that he's running again in 2024. And I think that we can all be very clear and say with a matter of fact that if you vote for Joe Biden, you really are counting on a President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is likely. It's why I've continued to say we need to have mental competency tests up until starting at 75, just to make sure that these people deciding our national security, deciding our economic policy, deciding what happens to our kids in schools, it matters. And I think you look at that. I think there's a reason that he campaigned in his basement in the last election. He got a pass. This time, how much is he going to do?
Wow, so that was yesterday. Let me know your thoughts. And articles rolling out like this. Nikki Haley predicts that Biden will die within 5 years if reelected, leaving Kamala Harris the president. Now, the GOP presidential contender Nikki Haley says that President Biden would likely die within 5 years if reelected, warning his supporters that they have to contend with Kamala Harris in the Oval Office. Now, Haley doubled down on criticism of Biden's decision to run again after being 80 years old. The oldest president in the nation's history announced his re-election campaign on Tuesday of this week, and I let you know as soon as it broke. I think that we can all be very clear and say, with a matter of fact, that if you vote for Biden, you really are counting on Kamala Harris, President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is very likely, Haley said. Haley has previously argued that candidates over 75 should take cognitive tests. Let me know, do you think that's a good idea? Let's test them over the age of 75 to make sure that they have the ability to run the country. A move that would also affect current GOP frontrunner Donald Trump, who is 76. Biden, however, doesn't see his age as an issue, despite attacks from the right declaring that he's his party's best candidate against Trump. I can't even say, I guess, how old I am. I can't even say the number, Biden said to reporters on Tuesday. It doesn't register with me. I took a hard look at it before I decided to run, and I feel good, he said. So Biden's saying he doesn't really care. Now, though Biden is trying to make his age a non-issue, critics have pointed to gaffes during his presidency as a sign of declining mental health. On Tuesday, for example, he incorrectly said that his grandfather died 2 weeks before Biden was born at the same hospital. Instead, his father's father, Joseph Biden, died in 1941 in Baltimore's Johns Hopkins Hospital, more than a year before Biden was born at the Scranton, Pennsylvania hospital. Concern about Biden's mental fitness peaked last September when he asked Where's Jackie? And search for the late representative at the event despite publicly mourning her death in a car crash and calling her family to offer his condolences in August. Now, Haley has been among many Republicans calling attention to Biden's gaffes, touting herself as a part of the new generation of leadership. And let me know, I think I've heard this mentioned a couple times here on the channel, people vocalizing the fact that we need new blood, younger people coming in, fresh ideas. Do you agree with that? The former American ambassador to the United Nations, however, continues to trail in the polls behind Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has yet to declare his intention to run in 2024. Now, the oldest U.S. president upon leaving office was Ronald Reagan, who was 77 when he completed his second term in January of 1989. Biden will now have that record, whether or not he wins re-election. Wow, so there you have it. Let me know your thoughts, and I will keep you guys up to date every step of the way because the elections are going to be coming right around the corner here. We're hearing people making their announcements. Campaigns are starting up for 2024, and I will let you guys know what unfolds. Now, in addition to that, we need to see what's going to be happening with our economy. I think that is the number one thing on people's minds right now. How are we going to be helping out people in poverty, the low income, those that need help? I will keep you up to date on all of this as new legislation is being proposed. We're also currently dealing with a debt ceiling issue, a crisis. We could be potentially looking at the first ever U.S. default, and we only have one bill that has been proposed that has passed in the House of Representatives, and we're hearing it is dead on arrival in the Senate, and there are no other proposals currently in hand, and we have until roughly June, we're hearing, before things fall apart. Now, I'll keep you guys up to date on all of this so that way you know what's going on. And again, if you appreciate that, do me a quick favor, smash the like button, subscribe to stay up to date. Check out this video next for more information. And like I said, I'll keep you up to speed on everything and I'll catch you in the next video. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.